I'm Matt Bouchard with REIT.com here in La Quinta, California for NAREIT's 2013 Leader in the Light Working Forum. Joining me is Rich Bachia, the Senior Vice President, Operations Tech with Brookfield Office Properties. Rich, thanks for joining us today.
No problem.
Your company was recognized as a 2012 Leader in the Light Award winner in the office large cap category. What do you feel is the recipe for building such a successful and well-recognized sustainability program?
You know, it's interesting. I've been in the business for 28 years, and one of the things, even when I was Olympia in New York, we were energy conscious. One of the first things you learned as an operating engineer was to save energy, look at your usage as far as steam or electric use. Sustainability just grew after 2005, 2006. And we started looking at Energy Star and LEED and what was it going to do in the environment. And we said, geez, we got to participate. Initially, it was, we have to. And then we started getting questionnaires from investors. And the investors were starting to give these 50-page questionnaires, and we're saying, geez, what's going on here? So it became more and more of an important part of our prospect. We took over the Trizec stuff. Then we said, let's go see how many we can do. So we registered all of our Energy Star buildings. Whatever was certified, we did gap analysis for LEED. And we said, geez, we're pretty close. Why don't we just keep going? And we've had 40 successful projects in core and shell and EBOM in the US and Canada. And we said, well, what's next? What do we got to do next? We've already done that. And then we started looking at our carbon footprint in 2007, 2008, and we used data as a baseline. And we started reporting to CDP. And we just kept evolving, and so now where do we go? And in 2000, for our 2011, 2010 numbers, we joined GRESB. We said, CDP's nice, but there's not a heck of a lot of real estate companies in CDP. So we looked for something that was going to be there. And GRESB was pretty much evolving at that point, and it continues to evolve as today's meeting is talking about.
Now, if you were able to highlight one area or initiative that you currently have underway as kind of the prime example of what you're doing at Brookfield, what would that be?
Well, right now, I think what we're looking for is our carbon footprint. I really think moving forward, carbon neutrality is going to be something we're really going to look at hard. We've been verifying our carbon for the last 4 years, having a third-party verification. So now the next step is to see what are we going to do from a carbon neutrality standpoint. With the acquisitions in Australia, the acquisitions in the UK, they already have systems in place, so we know that their carbon is verifiable. Now we got the cap and trade happening over in California, 2015. Commercial buildings will be part of that. We've got to get ahead of the curve there and see what the deal is. And do we go carbon neutral, or do we just trade some of our offsets?
Now, what would you say is the biggest day-to-day challenge that you face, as you look at all these initiatives you have going on? What's the biggest challenge?
The only sub-metered market, totally sub-metered, is New York. The rest of the markets are coming along. Houston's, we have 2 buildings now. We have a couple of buildings in LA that are sub-metered, but not to the extent that New York is. So the tenants don't really know nationally what's going on in their buildings, what's going on in their floors. LEED CI is a component that's bringing tenants to get sub-metered, and that's key. So what we've decided to do is part of that objective for us is we put in a backbone in most of our buildings. We've taken the cost for each of our buildings to do that. And this way, if a tenant does want to go for CI or does want to go sub-metered and as leases turn over, we have the infrastructure in place to do it. And we believe that we have had a process through Schneider Electric where we have the data for each tenant that's sub-metered, where they can look at it online and see exactly what they're doing on a real-time basis.
Moving beyond that, what would you say may be the next phase or evolution in terms of sustainability in commercial real estate?
I think the next step is going to be key. I hate to keep going back to it, but again, tenants being more cognizant of what's happening. I don't know that they really understand what the landlord does for the buildings to get them to where they are from a sustainable process, from an energy savings process, and on a base recycling process. I think they have to get a better understanding of what's going on from a landlord perspective. Once that happens, I think it's going to be an influx of energy savings that's going to happen on the tenant side, and I think that's going to lead them the same way it led Brookfield and other companies. It'll lead them into the sustainability period.
Rich, thank you so much for joining us today.
It was a pleasure.
For more on this and other real estate news and analysis, be sure to visit REIT.com.